Hey y'all, today I'm here to talk to you about our 4 must-have prime lenses for Canon. First off, I'm going to talk to you about the Nifty 50, the 50mm 1.8, which is a great lens for beginners. Any beginner photographer should definitely get this lens. It's a low price point and a really great quality for the price. This is what we started off with at 320 Studio, shooting weddings and portraits. It's just a really versatile go-to lens. We just recently switched last year to the 50mm 1.4, and the difference with that one is it's obviously more expensive. The glass is better quality, it's more crisp, and the aperture goes down to 1.4 if we need that for like lower light situations, or if we want to get like an even more depth of field. But yeah, the 50mm lenses are just great all around. They have a great focal length. It's a nice middle ground, not too wide, not too zoomed in. So if you're looking for a great go-to lens, the 50mm is your gal. Our next go-to lens is my personal favorite, the 85mm 1.8. It's a little pricier than the 50mm, so it took us a little while to save up and get this one, but holy moly, is it worth it? If you have the space, like you're not in a tight space, maybe if you're outdoors or something, this is like the best lens to have. It is so crisp, the background is so creamy, and the bokeh is just on point. I cannot say enough about this lens. The only con about it is like you can't really use it like in tight spaces because it is that 85mm. It's more zoomed than the 50mm, and so that's really the only con, but my personal favorite, so that's a must-have. Next one up is the 28mm 1.8, and you might be thinking, oh, this is kind of like a random lens. I think most photographers go for that 35mm, but honestly, the 35mm was at a way higher price point than we were needing at the time that we were looking into getting a wider lens. And honestly, if you have the 50mm, the 35mm isn't like that different as far as the focal length. So if you're gonna spend your money on something, you should go for something that has a little bit more difference there, which is why we ended up with the 28mm 1.8, and that one is cheaper than the 35mm, so we were like, hey, let's try it out. And it turns out we love it. It's our go-to wide angle lens, you know, for tight areas, like specifically for weddings and like the getting ready areas. That's a great one to have. Or if we just want to get like a wider composition, like for example, if you want to get like a lot of the landscape in, have the subject like really small or something like that, that's a great lens for that. The only thing that you have to watch out for with this lens is if you're taking portraits and you're like more up close, it kind of distorts the face. So that's the only thing you have to watch out for. But other than that, it's a must-have. And lastly, I'm gonna talk about the macro lens that we just got. It's the 100mm 2.8. This one is actually not a Canon lens. It is a Tokina. All the other ones I talked about are Canon lenses, but this one we went with Tokina because of the price point, and we've gotten a lens before, which is not a prime lens, which is why I'm not talking about it right now, but we got a Tokina lens before, and I really liked the quality for the price, so we went with the Tokina lens for this macro lens that we recently got. It is one that we use for detail shots, like the ring, shoes, like all the things that you wanna like zoom in really far into and get that really great depth of field. That's what we use that one for. And so we shoot weddings like every weekend, so that's a must-have for us, of course. And that is it for our 4 must-have prime lenses for Canon. I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.